Hey everyone. So today I'm going to tell you a story, or tonight since it's 11 p.m. This morning I woke up or I guess this afternoon I woke up at like 1:30. I had a dream, kind of a shortish dream, but it felt a lot longer than it probably was. I'd been trying to fall asleep for hours and hours, like 5 hours, and I finally fell asleep around like 4 a.m. And this is the dream that I had towards the end of that. I just had a dream where society has been collapsed for like 5 years because all the structure's frames are intact, like all the buildings, and the power is still running because the elevators still kind of work, but you can't get in them because the box is totally destroyed. Only the frame remains. It's basically an elevator husk. I kept getting stolen from in person in this dream. When I first arrived, I walk around some of the ruined objects for about 30 seconds. Then this guy comes up to me, and I start trying to ask him why things are the way they are here. He just sighs and gives me a $10 bill. I guess he just feels bad for me, maybe thinks I'm a beggar, who knows. Next, I come across this old car that's stopped in the middle of the road diagonally. It's kind of like an 80s kind of car. But this guy apparently died in his car, and I presume that he was murdered. I don't know what based on, but anyway. I take his case out of the car like a suitcase, and I dump everything out of it so I can examine it. I find a few things, including a wallet and a little bag, that when I turned it around, I saw it had a bunch of used medical syringes. And for some reason, I took this as the reason he was murdered and exclaimed, "Oh no." And I took this as the reason he was murdered, even though that doesn't make sense since they were still there. But when I got up to leave, these two guys jumped me and basically just want to kill me. They're not asking for anything except for a fight. They're not really indicating what they want other than a fight. I check my wallet, and I have about $75 in it in different bill sizes. But knowing this, I just hand them that $10 bill that the guy from before handed me earlier, since I hadn't actually put it away yet. They took it, but still pursued me. I don't remember what happened next, but I assume I outran them and escaped, because I end up in an area with a few friends in this overrun school lunch table kind of area with those silver metal benches, with like a not really a tarp, but like a kind of half tent kind of thing over us. There's a lot of people in this area. None of them look particularly sane, but they're all hanging out and talking to each other. I overanalyze everything, of course, because autism, and I overanalyze everything I see in real life. So naturally, I'm able to notice the most dangerous looking group in this area in the stream. So I'm talking to my friends, and this tall dude with a smirk on his face, kind of like a shit-eating grin, comes up from that dangerous group, picks up my wallet, walks off with it, and puts it on his group's side of that table. I roll over, indicating to take it right back, not fearing what would happen. And when I pick my wallet up, I see this group has been busy doing basically the same thing to everyone else, because there's about 10 more wallets where that came from on that table. So I take my wallet back and I run back to my friend's table. This is this is like friends in quotes, because I don't really recognize anyone. I didn't really look at any of them. But I see that tall guy get up again and start heading towards me, looking right at me, and I put two and two together. I get up and start backing up, looking for something to grab to fight with, and I eventually settle on my metal chug jug, which is basically the same one I have in real life, my huge Stanley thermos thing, which I have right next to me. You can kind of hear it. Yeah, it's huge. It's the biggest water container we have. This ought to do some damage. So I analyze his behavior a little bit, moving around, but before I go in for an attack. He starts grabbing chairs and stuff to move out of his way in his advance, but I just run around the whole bench area for about 10 seconds. Then I move in when he, for some reason, decides to sit in one of the chairs as he's trying to move it, but still clearly trying to advance towards me. And I whack him on the left side of the head with my Stanley about 3 times before I'm realizing this isn't doing much. So I try the other side once. He was still alive, so I just ran. I ran as far as I felt I should without getting too lost. But this place was a wreck. This entire area in the stream. I ran over scaffolding. Scaffolding-looking stuff. I ran between these kind of square metal air duct-looking things that go between buildings. I take a few turns in those before I find an opening, jump over a few more of them, and jump into this half husk of what I think used to be a warehouse building. I stop in it because I think I see that it has an elevator and that it goes somewhere. I don't exactly know where I am in relation to sea level here, up or down. I just feel like I needed to try something at least. But there's dishevelment everywhere. Broken wooden signs, huge paper things torn apart, flat on the floor, like signs and stuff, like posters. And you can see a lot of the structure's main structural beams and things on display. I entered this building from the far right side, through a big opening where there was just no wall there. There's not much to my left except darkness once I entered the building, but there are controls for an elevator on the right. And there's also this mesh that I assumed would open for the elevator. So I press the up control and I hear stuff happening. Surprised it still works. I see if very clearly from the side, or I see it very clearly from the side, starting to come up to my level. But the fact that I think that I could see into the elevator column and likely into the cab, I wasn't confident that I could safely ride it anywhere because the floor was likely gone. It jitters a few times, but after about 10 seconds, it gets to my level. The mesh opens like a door, as I expected, and I see inside the elevator. And as I suspected, almost all of the floor is completely gone. Only some blue plastic construction baggy stuff still remains there, and I make the decision not to take it. That's where the dream ends, because it was 1:30 p.m., and I didn't want to go back to sleep and risk going into this dream again. So, yeah. It's really the first time I've gotten a pretty good amount of detail that I could remember onto like any kind of notes after I've woken up already and try to remember it. Normally I just can't remember anything about the dream except like 1 or 2 things, but this I remembered most of the detail, and I think that has something to do with the fact that it took me a lot longer than usual to get going in my day. Yeah, I was just kind of half asleep, kind of like a zombie for like half the day. So probably has something to do with that. I wasn't quite awake yet, so I could remember most of the dream. So, yeah, hopefully someone found that interesting.